And we are live, guys. How's everybody doing in the comments? How you doing today, Mike?
Hey, doing great. Really
Doing good?
appreciate the time. Really appreciate you rescheduling this. Glad to be here.
No problem. I appreciate you taking the time to show everybody your cool collection. Because I know I see a different collection. I think that's what a lot of people like looking at, like how other collectors think. You know, what they think about watches, their philosophy or their take on collecting. I guess you could say everybody's got their own. And it's always cool to see, you know, somebody different besides myself or, you know, other people. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say there's value in kind of going different ways, right? You can look at other people's and go and really stretch your boundaries, right? And go, hey, I never thought about that. But then you also find people that you really connect with, right? You have similar styles and similar collections, and you can really that helps out, especially now when we don't get out able to see watches. You can say, hey, you know what? Me and, you know, whoever, we have the same thoughts, the same ideas. So that kind of lends some credibility to, you know, I think I'll give that watch a try.
Definitely. Quick wristwatch check, by the way. I'm about to go to work, guys. So we'll probably keep this about 30, 40 minutes somewhere in the G-Shock, of course, since I'm about to go to work. What you wearing today, Mike?
Hoyer.
Prefer Mike or Michael?
No, Mike is good. If I can get my thing right. This is the 1985 Hoyer Carrera reference 510.
Nice, nice. I don't think I've seen you post that one. And for those of you that don't know a little context behind how I know him, Mike, I know him from the Facebook groups, and he's in my group. He's very active in my Facebook group a lot, guys. So nice.
But this has the thanks. It's a
looks like it's a pretty mint condition.
What's that?
I mean, it looks like it's in pretty mint condition too.
Yeah, I lucked into this one. You know, every now and then you find these older pieces, and you know, condition it's important, right? I don't baby my watches, but you know, I'm not going to go out and cut grass in them either, unless I have a G-Shock. But you know, I was going to say this has the 5100 movement in it with the central minute counters. I just love that function.
Nice. Now, you said you've been collecting for about a dozen years now when we were talking off screen?
Yeah, dozen years, right? And
what
I think
what was the thing that catalyzed, like what first got you into collecting?
Probably the you know, like for a lot of people, you know, you just kind of play with your dad's watch or your granddad's watch. I remember my dad, this was years ago, he had a blue dial Seiko chronograph. I can't even remember, but I remember being fascinated by that. And then my very first watch, you know, I asked for a watch for a birthday or for Christmas or something like that. I still have it. This is the Nelsonic little LCD digital, right? Has a calendar, has an alarm. Absolutely love that watch. Went through high school. I graduated high school in '85, a long time ago, and had a Swatch. So I got on the Swatch train, and you know, from there, just kind of picked up little things here and there. I fell in love with, you know, if you think about it, you know, the quartz movement or the plastic of the Swatch, right? The multifunction of that old LCD watch, that got me into the G-Shock game, right? The whole Masters of G series, right? Mud Masters, Gulf Masters, right? And then from there, just everywhere, right?
Nice. You want to show some people some of your other watches you got?
Yeah, I would love to. Let's see. In no particular order, I'll just kind of randomize these things. This is the, I gotta get my justification right. This is the 2004 Speedmaster Japan Racing Edition. Just released in Japan in 2004. This one had been on my, you know, we were talking earlier, we all have a list. That had been on my list forever, right? So I absolutely love that, and actually came across a good deal in Atlanta, of all places. So made the trip up to Atlanta, and I've been really enjoying that particular one. Let's see here. Oh,
I threw you on the
yeah.
solo layout so people can see your watches better.
Good idea. This other one that I have, and I posted this one just the other day. This is the Black Bay Blue. Okay.
Okay.
Normally,
I love that watch.
Thanks. This is a rare time where the hype actually meets, reality. It's a fantastic. It wears great. It's versatile. It's accurate. There's a lot to like with that one. So very, very happy with that. Even, despite all the hype, I'm kind of wary of hype watches. But that one, I really like it.
Great size, right?
Yeah, that's what, 39 maybe? 39. This one's 36. This is the Explorer 1.
Okay.
114270.
Those are getting harder to get now, aren't they?
Yeah. Now, and this particular one, I looked into this one. Usually you look for with these kind of pieces, like any kind of service history. This one has a Rolex service history from 2018, and then it also came with the card from the previous Rolex service, which I think was 2012, right? So every 4 or 5 years, the owner had it regularly serviced, and it's in pretty good condition as well.
Now, do you find yourself drawn more towards like everyday wear kind of pieces, like versatile pieces?
Yes, absolutely. I mentioned before, I don't baby my watches, right? If I'm doing some serious work, usually I have a watch for that, like cutting the grass or woodworking, just whatever, right? Whatever the price or whatever the name on the dial, right? I'm not going to stick it in a vault or a safe. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to enjoy it. That's just these are daily wearers for me. I'll say I had the 39 millimeter Explorer a couple of years ago, and I really liked that one. But truth be told, at least with that particular case and dial, I like the 36 better.
Okay.
It's a classic size, go anywhere, do anything watch, right?
Yeah, the 39 is on my eventual grail list to get at some point. Who knows if I'll ever get one with them getting harder and harder to get.
Yeah.
These days.
Well, God, that's a whole nother discussion, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, we could spend a lot of time on that one. But this is the 42 millimeter Explorer 2 with the arm dial. And I say this a lot with a lot of my watches. Prior to this, I had the polar version, so I sold it and just wanted to try the black version.
Okay.
So just a little bit of background, right? I cycle through watches almost at a fanatic pace, right? This is a hobby. I want to be able to enjoy it. So I try different cases, different styles, different colors, different brands, different functions. Just I want to be able to touch it all. The good thing about that is I do get to try a lot of them. The bad news is unless you are Warren Buffett, right, it doesn't really make sense to go through that. So I try not to add a lot of money to the hobby. So I end up just trading, or I'll sell it and buy something else so I can fund the next watch. And I'm sure like a lot of other people that are here, right, we go through these cycles. I'll consolidate, get nice watch or whatever nice is to whoever consolidates, and then I'll diversify and get 5 or 6 watches. This one, right, and kind of the whole point of the story, right, is because I cycled through these watches. I've had untold many. This one is almost going to set a record for the longest duration.
Okay.
If I like a watch, if it's lucky, it will last 6 months, maybe. But that Explorer 2, and a while ago, I had one of the Planet Ocean, the 2500 Planet Ocean. And those two lasted The Planet Ocean lasted a year, and we're coming up to a year.
Sorry to interrupt, but which Explorer gets the most wear time, the 2 or the 1?
The 2.
The 2? Okay.
Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason, right? I think, well, I guess, you know, if I had to think a little bit about it, because of what I do, pre-COVID, I traveled a lot, and I loved it. So I just love the GMT function.
Okay.
And I'm just so used to wearing it that this is kind of my default watch, and all the others just kind of take turns. You know, they come in behind that one. This is the latest one I've got, right? This is the Grand Seiko SBGX 341. I don't know if you can see it.
I love that white dial.
Yeah, white dial. Lots of angles on the case. The top of the bezel is brushed. So, if you think about Grand Seiko as, and I kind of wrote a little bit about this on my Instagram, the first post with this. If you kind of think of Instagram as counterculture, right, to all the big Swiss brands or even German brands, you know, it's the other side of the world. It's, you know, not too many people know about Grand Seiko, right? So that's what drew me to it. And then quartz, right, is even more niche within Grand Seiko, right? They're more known for spring drive or their high beats. So I figured, hey, let's go counterculture, and if we're going to do it, let's go all the way and let's go quartz, right? And you know, all the thermocompensated quartz and all the legendary stats behind it. And I've had this for about 2 months, and I checked it today, and it's still 0. You know.
Now, do you think that's going to be keeper status?
No such thing. No such thing. So that doesn't exist. People would make fun of me because I'm not very sentimental. I would wear, I remember I kind of had this reputation on a few different platforms. And I wore an Omega Speedmaster 2, right? The barrel cased one with the hooded lugs. Long story short, I wore that to my oldest son's wedding. Right? And everyone said, well, that's got to be sentimental. And it was gone the next week. Right? It's just the way it is. So no, I'm always trying to do.
So you don't put watches with moments then?
No.
Okay.
Now,
okay. So what's next on the radar as far as purchase?
I'll give you 3. Okay. I'll give you an older one, right? We talk about lists and things that kind of come up on the list, and you get distracted and you eventually circle back to that one. Well, that for me right now is the older IWC, the 3706, right? It's the smaller 39 millimeter chrono from the early 90s. And a modern one, right? If that's the other part of this, I absolutely am infatuated with the brand new Grand Seiko, the white birch one with the new high beat movement. That is, I mean, honestly, it's out of my range right now. So I would have to consolidate in order to get that one. Thankfully, it's not limited. So it'll be around for a while, which is great. And then the third one, if you know, theoretically, if Tudor would come out with, you know, this Black Bay 58 in a GMT, yeah, I'd be first in line. So I would love to see that.
I'm the same way. I love the Pepsi GMT. The only thing with that is, and people mentioned that, I think they would have to cannibalize the current Pepsi GMT and take it out of the lineup. Probably. I don't know if they'll do that or not.
Right. Or they could go Coke if they wanted to, or Batman. So there are options.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, but you're right. That 39 wears so well compared to the older. Because I had the older with it, and it was a little bit on the thicker side compared to that one. Yeah. I think the one consistent thing with all of these watches,
and you hit on it a little bit earlier, is they're very versatile, right? Because I wear them in different situations, and I don't put them in a safe, right? So I just throw a bracelet or a strap or rubber or NATO or whatever on them, right? They all have to be pretty versatile in order to make it into the watch box. So, ironically, with the Grand Seiko, I haven't taken it off the bracelet yet, but I will one day.
Mm. And you said you've got 6 now. What's your ideal size? About 6 to 8, to where it's still manageable?
Yeah. The one watch,
or
actually,
would you like to stay about 6?
Well, up until last week, I had 7, right? And the one watch that went away was my Nomos, was the Club Sport Nomos, which I really liked, but I had a friend on the website that really wanted it, and so I'm like, okay, fine, because I'm not sentimental about it. If he's going to enjoy it, then okay, then good. I help somebody out with that. But to answer your question, yeah, 7 or 8, right? So you don't have to go through the entire box in a week, right? You can go through it, enjoy a watch for a while.
Wear each one.
Yeah, or a couple a day. Since we work from home, well, I work from home most of the time now. I keep my watch box in my little office here, and just whenever the spirit moves me, try on another watch.
So you find yourself wearing about 2 or 3 a day?
Yeah.
Because that's generally kind of like what I do. I'll wear, like, when I'm at home during the day, I'll wear, whatever I want to wear, then switch over to, like, my beater watch, whatever, it'll go to work.
Yeah.
So,
or, it can get pretty, yeah, I don't know, surreal sometimes. Like, my wife will make fun of me because I'll switch a watch, right, just to go in and help out with dinner. Or I'll switch a watch because I need to go out and, go get the mail, whatever, something like that. It's crazy. No one ever said this hobby was sane or for rational people.
I know, right? And then we got Peter C in here, by the way, Bruce, Blue Shirt Buddha, Flippin' Zippo. We got James from the Great Gambino Watch Reviews channel.
Nice.
We got a couple other people in here. I believe we got Ken Spear. Got quite a little crowd in here. You guys got any questions? We got Paul M. How you guys doing? How you doing, bud?
Yeah.
Junior.
I see Peter said there's something about white
have
dials.
Any questions for Mike as far as his collection goes? I've been drawing the white dials more recently too. For some reason, I have that Hamilton, the khaki. That's a great everyday piece.
Yes.
And you got Clyde, the watch wrangler. You probably seen him join me on my chats a lot. So,
yeah. You see me.
Yeah, that's definitely a great collection.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's
that?
ever rotating.
Okay, seems like it's a well thought out collection. Like you said, you like to go for versatility as far as what you wear.
The one thing I really I've tried is dress watches, right? But I just not really a dress watch kind of guy, and I've tried it a few times, right? Just to say I've tried it, and there are certainly some wonderful dress watches out there. Working from home, I don't need it. And even when I go into the office, it's a casual office, and when you're in front of clients, really, you kind of want to tone it down a little bit too. So, for a few reasons, I just don't really get into dress watches for now. Maybe later.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel like a Bambino or something like that would be enough for me for right now. James is asking what kind of Grand Seiko were you wearing? He's actually wearing a tag, James. I think you came in a little bit late. You were, but his Grand Seiko is the SBGX. Which one is yours?
It's the SBGX 341, the white dial. The 343 is the black dial.
Okay.
And really
what
like
size
this.
Is that one? Is that a 39?
39?
38?
No, I'm sorry, 40. It's 40.
Okay.
And you know, I've had some people comment on some pictures that it looks pretty tall, looks pretty thick, but it's only 11.5, 11.6 millimeters tall. It's probably just bad angles on my part, but it wears super, super comfortable and super versatile. Hey, my first watch as a kid.
And then Thomas is asking for your first watch as a kid.
Still have it. This is a Nelsonic, right? It was, God. It's got a calendar, an alarm. I don't have a battery in it now, but just a little LCD. And I remember as a child, I had to be, well, I was born in '67, so I had to be, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old. So somewhere around late 70s, maybe. But anyway, still have it, love it. I let my youngest look at it. He said, "That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life." Okay, that's fine. No worries.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of kids these days like Apple Watches. They don't get into watches.
Yeah, yeah.
And then James is saying he feels like Grand Seiko is gaining status. And I think they are. I think a lot of that has to do, which I know you have a couple of Rolex, but a lot of people are getting tired of the Rolex games. And I think they're moving to other brands like Grand Seiko now.
Yeah, it's
like, and people finally realizing that the quality of Grand Seiko.
Yeah, it's just really magnificent, right? And you know, for Grand Seiko fans, even if you're not a Grand Seiko fan, right? You watch these little YouTube videos, and they do a tour of the facilities and this almost monastic focus that they have on what they do. It's really fantastic. Dial work is out of this world. The movements are out of this world. You know, the case designs. The thing about Grand Seiko, right? And you could say this about some other watch brands too, is they're very diverse, right? They have so many different case sizes, right? The 62 GS, the 44 GS, right? If you like wide flanks on your lugs, or if you like thin lugs, right? You've got it covered. They've got dress, GMT, quartz, spring drive, divers, everything you can think of, right? So you should be able to find a Grand Seiko that, one, you like, two, is in your budget, right? And you're right. I think you know, some of these other big manufacturers.
And I think what it took a lot of people, I think me included, I think it took a lot of people to warm up to the initial price of Grand Seiko, because in our minds, I think a lot of us still think of Seiko as a affordable brand. So I think it took a lot of us a chance to like hold them and see them in person. It was kind of like the groupthink thing, I think. And then now that more of us are starting to see him, hold them, I think, get the experience, we realize the quality of them. I think it was like a mind thing at first. A lot of people didn't get.
No, that's a great point, and you're absolutely right about that. And if you remember, until recently, until just a few years ago, right, when Grand Seiko launched in North America, right, they would be on the dials, they would have Seiko on top, right, and then Grand Seiko on the bottom. So you had co-branded dials, which, to your point, strengthened, for better or for worse, that association with Seiko.
And then Bruce is saying he's got you beat by 4 years. He wishes he kept his Pulsar LCD watch.
Nice, nice. Those were the days. I said I love that watch. And then, like I said, in high school, I had that old Swatch. I remember it was yellow case and a black dial. And for those that you know, were around back then, yeah, I had the little rubber bands that went around. It was crazy. It was the 80s, right? That's my excuse.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Really,
my first watch was my first kind of real watch, I guess, was Shark watches. You know, the freestyle, the surfing watches.
Yeah. Yes. Yep, those are awesome.
Those are big here at the beach. But
that's right, Myrtle Beach, right?
See, we got Clam Walker in here. Yes, sir. Myrtle Beach. Yeah, we're not too far. I've seen you're in Georgia, right?
Yeah, over on the west side of Georgia, just about an hour away from the Alabama state line, and just about 45 minutes away from Auburn
Okay.
University. That's the closest school we have is Auburn.
Okay.
So
okay. Clive is asking 67 Berkshire watch.
Yeah, and I actually had it was a Seiko. Speaking of Seiko, and I cannot remember the designation. Starliner, I think. Maybe don't quote me on that, but very nice. Okay. It was a black dial, leather strap, 1967. Love that watch. That watch traveled with me quite a bit. You know, back when I was traveling, it was either that watch because it was small. It was 1967, right? Under the radar, as they say, or I would travel with I've been through a lot of GMT watches, so.
Yeah, Clive is a big vintage watch fan, so as you may or may not know. Thomas is asking, have you got a watch that would be your ultimate end-all watch?
Doesn't exist. So just, you know, I love the hobby so much. I cannot think of one, and I cannot imagine one even in the future that I would go, okay, this is it. I'm ready to walk away. I keep the desire is constant just to cycle through more watches and try different ones.
That's like we were just talking about our mutual friend Bruce Leams. We were talking about him. He just got his Grail, which is the same Grail as mine, the VC Overseas. That's my ultimate Grail. Yeah. Maybe one of these days. But even if I got that like him, now he's still looking at new watches now, even after buying his, you know. So it's never ending.
Yeah, that's but tangentially on that conversation, right? We could talk about what's on the Mount Rushmore of watches. You know, if you want to talk about Speedmasters, right? The old Hesalite moon watches, right? Subs. You could wear those anywhere and do anything, you know, and of course, you know, for the vintage guys, who knows? It's a whole different conversation. It's different for different people. But for me, nah, doesn't exist. For better or for worse.
Okay. Well, guys, we're closing in on half an hour. I am getting ready for work myself. I appreciate you coming on, Mike. Anybody else got any questions for Mike before we call it an evening here?
I'm sorry?
I was going to people in the comments if anybody else has a question for you before we call it a night. So I appreciate your time, Mike. Thanks for coming on, man.
No, that's anytime. A great collection. Absolutely, thank you. Absolutely enjoyed it.
You actually had me looking up that Grand Seiko. I've been kind of eyeing one of those now.
It is a remarkable piece. It really is. Hey, all right, good deal.
Okay. Thomas is asking before we go. Do you prefer new or vintage?
Both. However, I will lean toward new because vintage, I don't know enough about vintage. I mean, so what's that old saying? You don't know what you don't know. And, you know, if it's vintage, I just don't know enough to buy a watch. Now, the one that I'm wearing, right, this is 1985, 86. Right. That's about as far back as I'll go. I have had vintage in the past where I was pretty sure that everything was above board, but then that little voice in the back of your mind just goes, you know, what if something happens? Who's going to service this? So for me, you know, new-ish. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I did a little vintage kick there for a little while, but not saying I won't get back into it because there is a lot of value in it if you know what to look for.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Guys, we will call it an evening. Thanks thanks again for your time, Mike. Thanks everybody
for
joining in the comments.
Yeah,
we will see you guys.
Absolutely. I'll see